We'll start with the superficial stuff, and that is that the new product is a little bit sharper looking, it's got harder edges to it, less rounded than the previous model. The design itself has got new receivers as well, which we'll go into later detail. Smaller changes that are less noticeable is the placement of the microphones on the device, and of course the color tones. Now the color tones are not as bold because Resound's really looking for discreteness here in the new range. So it's tending to supply these devices in more hair and skin tones, which seems to be the same sort of line of tact as a lot of the other major manufacturers. The new Resound ONE range comes with 2 additional receivers, and these receivers have been improved based on the ergonomic shape of the ear to give you a better fit. They've also got improvements in the retention, and that's how the receiver actually fits inside the ear canal and holds itself there. Great for people who have got very active lifestyles. So the big news here is the new M&RIE receiver, which stands for microphone and receiver in the ear. Now, before we go into this world first, we really need to investigate why Resound would investigate putting a receiver and a microphone together, and I'm going to explain traditional devices versus this new one. It all basically comes down to ergonomics. Like a podiatrist will fit an insole to your shoe based on how you walk and the shape of your foot, or dentists are using clear plastic molded guards to straighten a smile. At the top of your ear is called the pinna, and this is the ear's way of collecting sound and assisting you to hear better in things like background noise, lifting volume, and providing you with a situational awareness or localization of sound. These benefits, in the audiology world, is called the pinna effect. Well, traditional receiver in the canal devices have had to ignore this design option of having the microphone next to the receiver because it was considered impossible until this point because of a thing called feedback, which is when the microphone and the receiver are right next to each other. In standard receiver in the canal devices, which is every other device on the market that's an RIE, the receiver in the ear canal and the microphone are really separated to the point where the microphone is actually behind the ear and the body of the hearing aid. The top of the ear then became a natural barrier to the recycling sound or feedback. This design feature in the past has assisted with the fitting of receiver and canal devices and made them the most popular in the market. However, what Resound's trying to do here with its recent upgrades and improved computer chip is basically using this computer chip to help with the filtering process and dealing with the feedback to give you more of a natural sound and way that you can hear. And it's removed the feedback sound even when the microphone and the receiver are so close together. So the result, well, ergonomics of your body, being the natural shape of your ear, is now assisting your hearing device to process sound more naturally, perform better, just the way that nature intended you to hear. The only consideration here is how the device is fitted, and this comes down to your audiologist, as that comes down to the level of hearing loss someone has. Because the larger the loss, the greater the volume of sound that's required to be amplified, and as such, you run into a feedback situation where it's more likely to occur when those receivers and the microphone is together. The fitting type of the microphone at a hearing loss that's really large is probably not going to be as beneficial to someone with a large hearing loss, but your audiologist will deal with this, and if it's not appropriate, they'll choose a particular type of receiver that will be appropriate. It's all just another reason why you should not buy hearing aids online, because as you can tell, it's highly complicated and very personalized to the skill set of that audiologist and how they fit that device. It's very hard for someone who has no idea about this type of thing to be able to choose the right device, the right receiver, purchasing online, and therein lies the problem. If the new M&RIE receiver gets to a point where your expectation and your overall success of the device is just not quite right, then you can, as previously discussed, have the option to change the receiver and the dome options with your audiologist to get a better outcome, especially if you want it a bit louder. Another notable difference is due to the new M&RIE receiver being placed in the ear, the effects of wind noise has been reduced, and this is because the microphone is no longer on the back of the ear. It's actually inside the ear canal, and Resound is reporting that there's up to a 19 decibel wind reduction in some instances, which is really impressive. 19 decibels is a lot. So it's becoming one of those situations where wind is no longer difficult to navigate for those who are wearing hearing devices. This technical feature in the hearing aid's processing capabilities has effectively removed the sound of wind. This is usually in high levels of devices at a higher cost, where the hearing aid manufacturers will use the technology in the processing chip to be able to achieve this, in which case you're obviously spending a little bit more money with programs that are assisting in reducing wind. Well, because the receiver in the canal device has the microphone in the ear canal, it removes this altogether, which is quite an incredible thing, especially if you're somebody who goes outside a lot or does a lot of recreational activities. As well as adding new receivers to the Resound ONE hearing aid device range, we also are now seeing an upgrade to the dome options, with the new closed dome options added to the tulip, power and open dome options. This has been well received in our clinics, as many audiologists have used an industry trick of actually fitting closed style domes from other manufacturers until this point to get a better hearing aid fitting. So thanks Resound for figuring this one out. The benefit here is for the hearing aid wearer is the ability for the audiologist to lift the amplification without experiencing feedback with the new styles. Feedback is the name given to the whistling sound created by the hearing aid when it recycles its own sound between its microphones and the receiver. EarDeals is fiercely independent of hearing aid manufacturers. Our job is simple: provide a free hearing aid brokering service that supports both private funded hearing aid wearers as well as those who can access the Australian Government's Hearing Services Program for free and subsidised hearing aids for pensioners and DVA card holders. Our mission is simple: link the best quality service providers in the industry with the best possible products on the market so that you get the best possible clinical outcome for your hearing aid fitting at the lowest price. Join many of the thousands of EarDeals clients in Australia already and call 1300 010 064 and hear the EarDeals difference. At the end of the day, you've got nothing to lose with our 60-day money-back guarantee.